2 years since the Myanmar military coup, the people of Myanmar continue to live in a nightmare. The world seems to have forgotten them, and their own rulers are upending their lives. According to reports, the military junta has extended the country's state of emergency by another 6 months now. Where does this leave the promise of the elections, the promise of restoring democracy in the country? Our next report explores.
On the 1st of February 2021, Myanmar's military overthrew the democratically elected government of Aung San Suu Kyi and seized power in a coup. This marked the end of a decade of tentative political reforms following 49 years of strict military rule. Ever since that day, Myanmar has been in turmoil. The coup upended lives and led to widespread protests. As per the Assistance Association for Political Prisoners, 141 people were killed on the 27th of March 2021. This was one of the bloodiest days of violence since the coup. It estimates that 13,680 people are currently detained for their support of the pro-democracy movement since the coup, and more than 2,800 people have been killed in the violence. The junta disputes the reported number of casualties. According to the United Nations, some 1.2 million people have been displaced and over 70,000 have left the country. The ousted leader, Suu Kyi, was recently convicted of 5 counts of corruption and jailed for 7 more years. The trials have been condemned internationally as a sham, designed to keep the junta's biggest threat at bay. The 77-year-old is held in a jail in the capital of Naypyidaw in solitary confinement. The military has insisted she received due process by an independent court. As per the US-based conflict monitoring group ACLED, around 19,000 people died last year as a crackdown on protests led many to take up arms against the military. Meet 21-year-old resistance fighter Aya Chan. He was a factory worker making instant noodles before the coup, and now is a resistance fighter.
My name is Ai Chan and I am 21 years old. I was a factory worker in Yangon, but now I have become a revolutionist to be against the military regime till the ultimate fall of the junta. I never had a regret while I was fighting, and when I got injured, I chose this route because I believe this route is the right one. If I recover enough, I will go back to the war. This is until the end.
On the 2nd anniversary of the 2021 military coup, protesters took to the streets in Thailand and Japan. Myanmar's junta has now extended the country's state of emergency by another 6 months. Junta leader General Menon Lane said multi-party elections must be held as the people desire, but did not provide a timeline for the polls, which cannot be held during a state of emergency.
I don't think it is possible to do an election. Even if they do, it will be just themselves with their soldiers. Everyone locally and internationally has rejected them.
Critics have said any elections are likely to be a sham aimed at allowing the military to retain power. Meanwhile, the United States and its allies imposed further sanctions on Myanmar on Tuesday. The same day, Britain sanctioned 2 companies and 2 individuals it said had supplied Myanmar's Air Force with aviation fuel used to carry out bombing campaigns against the country's own citizens. The UN Special Envoy at the United Nations has called it the 2nd anniversary of the failure of the international community to effectively address this crisis.
There's 3 things that the junta needs to sustain itself. It needs money, it needs weapons, and it needs legitimacy. The junta does not have legitimacy in the eyes of the people of Myanmar.
The question is, as the situation on the ground continues to worsen, how much repression can the people tolerate?
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.